Hey, it's not Shaves, and welcome to another guest edition of Anitube Digest, where we go over the best and not so best videos to come out this week from. I already forgot what days I'm covering. It's in the title of the video. I haven't done anything. I'm not used to doing things on camera. I haven't done anything in a while, and this is weird. It's weird. I apologize for the scuffed setup. As I said, not used to doing things on camera. I don't want to show any more of my room than this. So I was nervous I wouldn't have anything to say about the videos this week because I don't really follow Anitube like as closely as I used to. But I'm kind of excited to be doing this because I checked out some channels that I wouldn't I don't normally keep up with, and found some interesting content. So yeah, that was cool. So I didn't have any videos that I thought were not good this week. Although I will mention one video as like a decent with an asterisk. Because it's more just like a really petty thing that I have to talk about. But it was a video by Korewa Eden. Jahi-sama is better than Nagatoro, and I mean it was just kind of like it was a whatever video. It was just like a waifu tier list thing. More specifically, like what gets me with these types of videos. It's just like the super fast paced editing that it's just like cut on every word or like every couple of words. Like I know, like Nuxtaku style is also kind of very similar to that. And it can just be like a little distracting for me personally. It's like a little like overstimulating because it's just so much is happening and sometimes I lose track of what the people are saying. The video itself, like I said, it was just like a waifu tier list thing. There's not really much to say about it. I don't know. It was fine. It was a video. There were like a couple of other videos that I watched this week, but just like didn't have anything to say about. That was, like I said, that was all I really had to say about that video. Because it's like not just a Korewa Eden thing. Like I know it's a very specific like stylistic choice for like that type of content. It's just not a type of content that I guess I watch much because I don't know, the editing always gets me. Yeah, that was that video though. Now for the videos that I thought were decent. Shabe's decent. This is going to be an utter disaster. It already is an utter disaster, and I apologize. Aleczandxr made a video, my ultimate slice of life anime, about Hyoka, and this was interesting to see. I'm admittedly like I don't keep up with Alexander's content as much as I used to, but just in general, I know him more for doing like the videos on like shonen battle manga or like more like action, more like what's the word I'm looking for? Not like slice of life, I guess, is the story. So it was cool to see him like talk about something that seems sort of outside of his wheelhouse, I guess. Not like not typical. I don't know. It was a cool video though, just talking about Hyoka and the characters and the like theming and stuff. It's a typical Alexandr video. I just thought it was interesting that, he was covering something that I wouldn't have expected him to talk about in a video format. Yeah, it was cool. The real life history behind my favorite new shoujo anime by Under the Scope. This is a video about Kageki Shoujo. It was a little less about Kageki Shoujo specifically, and more just like talking about what Kageki Shoujo is kind of like about, like, looking into like Takarazuka theater and that sort of thing, and kind of like looking more into like the background of what I guess Kageki Shoujo is working with. It's a seasonal from this season that I haven't checked out yet, but it does seem neat. But yeah, it was just kind of a video talking about like Takarazuka. It was very similar to like back in 2018 when people were talking about like Revue Starlight. I remember that topic coming up as well. So it felt kind of reminiscent of, those discussions. He even mentions Revue Starlight outright in the video itself, and kind of like drawing sort of like a compare and contrast between the two, like just a very little part of the video, but about how like Revue Starlight was more using these as kind of like devices to explore other ideas and whatnot. Whereas like Kageki Shoujo seems to be more like grounded and more focused on like the like day to day, and it was a neat video. It's actually a thing that was kind of surprising to me for this video was that apparently Jack edited it himself. I know I saw that Nice did like the mangamations for, or what are they called? I don't know. The like manga animations. But like apparently Jack edited this one himself for the first time in like a couple years or whatever. So that was interesting. Yeah, I turned on another light, so my lighting doesn't look... I mean, I don't have a proper lighting setup at all. The next video was last week's Anitube Guest Digest by Shabo. Yeah, it was in, you know, it was very reminiscent of, like, the Jack is Boy style of just being very, like... If every, like, Jack is Boy video feels a lot like I'm watching some sort of, like, wrestling promo, but more, you know, through, like, the lens of, like, anime content creator. And admittedly, like I don't know what to make of like that style of comedy. It's just like it's hard for me to tell sometimes like what is sarcastic and what isn't. So a lot of the like jokes just kind of happen, and it's like the reason why I compared it to like a wrestling promo is that it's just like very in character, and it's hard to tell like what all is part of just the character and it's just things that like are just being said versus you know, like there will be like I guess occasional points where it seems like there are like little breaks in the character, but otherwise it's just like I know there was a part in the video where he talked about was it a Sydsnap video? I forget, but it was like something that Jack is Boy edited, and Shabo was just like the editor for this video was really handsome and really handsome and really handsome, and it's like I edited that video. And it's just stuff like that. It's neat. The one thing though, he did criticize Ember Reviews, his digest for not having the like Burger King crown, because you know Ember's the king of anime analysis. But the thing that I felt was like a missed opportunity is that like in like all of these guest digests, the person before like or the person doing it will like cover the digest of the person before that week, but Ember missed that one, and I was like, you could have got him, but you didn't mention it. It was too focused on the lack of Burger King crown, which I mean, you know, fair enough. It was very interesting that there were like, you know, I mean, it was, you know, he said himself that it's like, oh, you know, I have a life outside of this, but there were like a lot of different costume changes, and so it almost gave it a little bit of like theatrical. I don't know what the words I'm saying are. But yeah, it was a fun video. Good stuff. The next video on my list is a Mother's Basement video, Time Travel in Anime. And, you know, this is another one of those channels where, like, I used to keep up with it more back in the day and then kind of, you know, I don't really follow Mother's Basement's content much these days. But, I decided to check it out because, you know, he's one of, like, the bigger names in Anitube. And I did think it was an interesting video. It's the kind of content that I feel like Jeff is pretty good at. As far as, you know, like taking this more like general topic and kind of giving like, you know, like tying all these different varying anime together through like this more broader like topic, in this case of time travel. So looking at like time loops, time leaps, time skips, or what was the other category? Timelines. That's what the other one was. And then, you know, the last category, which is just like time to argue about whether this is isekai or not. And it's, you know, I guess goofy in that sense. Yeah, though, like it had a good selection of anime, some stuff that I'd seen, some that I hadn't. And I do think that's what makes this kind of just general topic style of video work, is that, you know, you have the bigger names that you can use to like, you know, get the casual audience and, you know, appeal to the algorithm and whatnot. But you can also like sneak in a little more like, I don't want to say obscure, because I don't know if necessarily many of the things mentioned here were like obscure, but, you know, less wider known stuff, and kind of advertise that to a broader audience. Yeah, it was a decent video. I enjoyed it. Sydsnap made Opai Ramen. You know, again, another channel where I don't usually watch Sydsnap's content because it's a lot of like very more like, I mean, a lot of the stuff is like hentai or like lewd stuff, and it's like, if you know me, I don't tend to gravitate towards that content. So like, I don't know, it just didn't look appealing to me. But I decided, you know what, it's digest week. I'll check out a video, and this video was actually pretty entertaining. Because it's like Sydsnap goes to this like snack bar in I forget where she was. In Japan, obviously. And while you could definitely tell that, that like the setting, the environment of this video was sort of like, in her wheelhouse of like, like the more like, it's opai ramen. So it's very like that sort of thing. But yeah, like it was interesting because you just kind of get her at this like snack shop with this like shop owner, and you kind of get like the story of the shop owner and like how she came to sort of have this place. And she even makes like the ramen itself, and you get the after bit of her like eating the ramen and trying it out, and it's just an entertaining video. I was surprised by it because like you see the title and it's like, oh, okay, here we go. But it's just one of those like living in Japan things, and like observing little interesting places and things that you find. I think like Giguk and Anime Man and like Sea Dog, like the Trash Taste crew, I think also do a lot of these types of videos. And I don't really keep up with them either. But maybe I should, because this video was interesting and I would be curious to see more like it. And now for a complete tone shift, the next video is by Bonsai Pop, Afro Samurai, the Chicago Ronin Initiative. It's just a charity video, pretty much a follow-up on their Afro Samurai video last year, where, they made this video. It was at, the height of like the BLM stuff, protests happening and whatnot. And, it was a cool video because they were like, saying like, hey, all the AdSense money we make from this is going to be donated to charity, and they were like, it was for a good cause, and it was a good video. But then it sort of like YouTube didn't seem to be on board with it, and it kind of like nuked their channel in the algorithm for a bit, and it just didn't really get much attention. So I thought it was really cool that like this video was made to sort of go back to that and be like, okay, let's try this again, and like hoping for a better result, I guess. Another thing that I really respected was like, I think his name was Mike. He doesn't even live in the Chicago area. I don't think either of the two people working for Bonsai, or their like team don't, like, neither of them lived in like the Chicago area. So it was cool that like looking into like he really did his research as far as like looking into like local charities and like trying to find the one that I guess worked the best for like their vision. And yeah, so it wasn't even like a local sort of thing, it was like local to them, but just like a more like ground level sort of activism. I don't know, it just seemed like it was for a good cause, and you could clearly tell that like the research was put into it, and that like this is something that they actually care about, and we're really committed to making this work, especially the fact that like this is the second video that they're doing to try and like support this cause. I think that's admirable, and I wanted to spotlight that here. This is a little more of like a side tangent thing, but he did mention offhand in the video that apparently they have a Ranma video coming out. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, it's a good video. Next video was Kurudun by the Ocean by Bruce Juice. I gotta applaud it. It's I can only describe it as like a Kurudun like fan cam, like AMV type edit, and it was fun. It was good. Kurudun is good. Watch Tropical Rouge Precure. Yeah, I like that video. It was thumbs up, two thumbs up. Good job, Bruce. The Importance of Talk No Jutsu by Craftsdwarf. Now, maybe this one could, if someone else was doing this, maybe they would have it in Best of the Week. I don't know. Maybe I'm sort of like, what was the word? Maybe I'm sort of like underselling it a bit, because Craftsdwarf and I have been like talking about this idea for a good while, and I had read the script for it before. So, I was pretty much already familiar with all the points that were going to be brought up in it. But it was more or less like a follow-up video to my In Defense of Talk No Jutsu video and his Conflict and Compromise of Sasuke Uchiha video that we made like 2018. And it's sort of like kind of taking the approach of my Talk No Jutsu video, as far as like in my video I really focused on like going through each of Naruto's like individual antagonists or rivals, and also like using them to kind of like frame Naruto's character. Whereas I thought that Craftsdwarf's video, if I remember correctly, because it has been a few years, was more linearly focused on Sasuke, even if there were mentions of other characters. So this video was to sort of like take the approach of my Naruto video and kind of like look at all of Sasuke's opponents. So you get like Orochimaru, Deidara, Kabuto, those characters. And I did think it was overall, like, I liked the point of it that, it really is like a good complementary piece to both of the videos that we made, where, like, with Naruto's character arc, as I talked about, it was a lot of, like, him compromising with his enemies as opposed to just trying to, like, just, like, crush them and beat them in a fight or whatever. Whereas, like, with Sasuke's character arc, it's a little more like the characters looking past each other. They're not really seeking compromise, and sort of showing what that does to those characters. Like, a lot of, like, sort of the different conclusions that those characters end up reaching, as opposed to, like, a lot of them dying off or getting absorbed or whatnot, in the case of, like, Orochimaru. So basically, like, if the characters refuse to compromise, then they sort of met the logical endpoint of their ideals, as opposed to most of Naruto's opponents, where they kind of, try to get, like, some moments of redemption, or they kind of, like, turn around in their final moments, or, something like that. Because I had already, like, talked with Craftsdwarf beforehand about this video, there wasn't anything in it that made me, like, galaxy brain, but it was a good video, it was a solid video. It's a good follow-up to stuff we had made before, and really kind of, like, making it more of, like, a holistic discussion, I guess. Yeah, good video. It was a video. It was a video. Yeah. And now for the videos I thought were the best of the week. The best videos of the week. Leading us off is Beyond God damn it. Is Beyond Ghibli with How Jinro, the Wolf Brigade, Stands Alone. And yeah, like, I had heard of the Jinro movie before, like the animated movie, but I wasn't aware of, like, the whole media mix, or not media mix, but, like, all the different other ways in which the story, like, live action stuff and whatever. So really, like, this video was good at, like, looking at the Jinro, like, franchise as a whole and kind of, like, giving it the proper, I guess, context of, like, here is what this piece of media, like, means in a broader perspective. And yeah, it was very, like, well researched, and clearly he had, like, seen the movies and whatnot, because there are a lot of, like, live action clips. And I did think it was really cool to see all of that sort of, like, compiled together, and just, like, seeing a lot of, like, the iconic imagery and how that kind of gets portrayed across different adaptations. Yeah, it was just a really solid video. Good stuff. Healin' Good Precure. Watching all the Precure, episode 17 by Tyranno. They're back, and they're caught up. There was a little, like, a tangent in the video where it was just like, oh, I need to take this moment to celebrate that I'm, for the moment, caught up on Precure. And it's like, this is a video series that they've been working on for, I think they said, like, 3 or 4 years. And so it's cool to see them, like, get to that point. I haven't seen the whole series to this point, because I haven't seen all of Precure to this point. But, I watched the Hugto video, I watched the Star Twinkle video, and I hadn't seen Healin' Good. That's, like, the one recent series of Precure that I didn't catch. But I did decide to watch this video just because, like, I don't know, maybe it would get me interested in the series. And of course, it's, like, the last one before the currently airing Tropical Rouge. So it's, like, it is a big milestone that, like, caught up on Precure. Like, you've actually gone through over the course of several years and watched all the Precure. That's something that I'm trying to do slowly. I'm on Max Heart right now, and I watched, like, an episode or two, and just not particularly vibing with it, but I'll have to get back to it at some point. But yeah, I watched this video, and it actually made me go check out Healin' Good. Like, I've watched the first 3 episodes now, because it was just a really good video. And, like, something about, I don't know, even just as simple as, like, seeing the character designs and, like, really actually, like, looking at the series, seeing it sort of, like, presented in this way. But also it's just, like, a good, like, discussion of what the series is kind of doing with the characters, and like the general sort of theming of the and like presentation of the work. This particular season was interesting because I know they had an observation. Tyranno had an observation about like the series is called, it's Precure, it's Pretty Cure, but like this is the first time that like, you know, with Healing Good they're like healing, so they're like actually the cures, they are pretty cures, and that observation was just really funny, and it's like, oh, duh. So that was cool. There was also a neat observation in there about like this was the first season of Precure to be directed by a woman, so that was like not something I was aware of, because I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And there was another little like nitpicky observation that I was kind of like, I don't know, but it was very clearly presented as like a nitpick, so you know I can't be too fussed over it. That it's like Aoi Yuki is the main character, but she's like not even a like a loud, screamy magical girl. She's like very quiet and reserved, and they were just like, I want to hear Aoi Yuki like scream or whatever. It's like that's all I want, and I'm just like. You know, like watching the video, I'm like, are you saying a a VA can't have range? But you know, it's very clearly just like a personal thing. But I thought it was a funny observation. Yeah, it's a really solid video. I recommend it. Maybe, you know, even if it's like, oh, I haven't seen Healing Good, but maybe if like you're familiar with any other seasons of Precure, like it's a big series, so go and check out some of it. Yeah, it's a good video. It just narrowly misses out on being best of the week. I was torn between this and the next one. But it's a very good video. Looking forward to like 6 months from now when they get to cover Tropical Rouge. Yeah, they're caught up for now, but only for now. And the video that I'm gonna give best of the week to is actually a Manime Matt video. Why I drove 7 hours to grab dinner with a friend. It's not a typical Manime Matt video. You know, there's like, of course there's going to be like occasional mentions of anime in it because like, you know, that's the type of people in the video. But it was just a like travel vlog of like, I guess he has a friend that they had like this running joke of like, oh, like come out and like meet me at some point and I'll like make you dinner. And so I guess one day, or I mean, obviously there was like planning going into this because like Evanito was there as well, and I guess Evanito was kind of doing his own like vlog thing along the way as well, so they kind of like killed two birds with one stone, I guess, you know, with the same trip. But yeah, he just like called them up one day and was like, hey, make me like, I forget what he said, like steak or something, and is like, I'll be there tonight. And the person was just like, what? Like, clearly was like, you know, you're joking. Like, you're not actually like, haha. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward video. It's just like them driving out to Arizona. And so you get like the fun interactions between like Evan and Matt. And it's clear that like they have like chemistry because like they're friends. So, you know, their banter is fun. There's the part where they're like in the car on the ride there, and Matt's like, I brought snacks, and Evan's like, you're supposed to, not snacks, you're supposed to have like actual food. And Matt just pulls out like gummy bears, which is a little observation that of course was going to stick with me because I'm having like a fruit gummy obsession of my own right now. So that was funny. I don't know, it was just like a heartwarming video to see, I guess, you know, in the pandemic times. You know, I'm hoping that like next year, look, I want to be able to go back to conventions and stuff and like see people again. Yeah, but it was just really nice to, I think, see that kind of video where it was very like, you know, going out and going places and like doing a special thing without really like much of a, you know, it's not like there needed to be a convention or something to like facilitate it. It's just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna go drive to a friend's place in another state and have dinner with them and make a video out of it. It was really cool, and I don't know, it was the type of thing that it was a special kind of video. I do generally tend to prefer Matt's more like personal stuff, the more like story time kind of videos that he'll do, where he does like his little animatics. I don't know what to call it. where it's not just like a typical anime video. It's more just like him talking about stories in his life. Because I don't know. I think it's just interesting to see. And yeah, this video was kind of like that, but obviously different. And I don't know. It was nice to see. It was the best video of the week. Yes. So that was my guest edition of Anitube Digest. I'm sorry it was a disaster. I'm sorry my setup is not really a setup. You know, I'm doing my best here. I think the next one is going to be by Kami Mashita, assuming that nothing has changed since I last saw that. So look forward to the next guest Anitube Digest. If you stuck it out to the end of this one, thanks. Cool. This was a mess. But it was fun. I don't know. Bye. What does Shaves usually do? I forgot the outro. Bye.